Hello everyone. Let's talk about a very powerful feature. A very powerful and yet very risky. It could be like an amazing experience and could be a big fat problem. It depends on how we use that. In every flow, there is the properties up top here. And then if you show advanced, you will see this option here, how to run the flow. How to run the flow has three options: user or system context, depends on how the flow is launched, system context with sharing, enforcing regulable access, and system context without sharing, accessing all data. Let's look at it in this diagram here. Basically, straightforward, very simple. The first option respects, allows, checks object field level security and sharing settings. The second option bypasses, ignores, disregards object field level security, but it continues to respect or check sharing settings. The third option would disregard or bypass both of them. So this is why this is powerful, because if you need to bypass security to be able to process some data, manipulate some data, you can do that with a flow. But then this is very risky, because if you add something like this on an Experience Cloud site, for example, allowing this flow to be accessible by guest users, and then allowing them to access all the data in the system, then someone out there might do something in there that nobody would like. It may be a disaster at the end of the day. So let's be careful about using this. But then sometimes, if we have some limitations for a user that we know that it is okay to give them the necessary action, the necessary permission to be able to do that, and we can't get around this with profiles, permission sets, security settings in general, then we can give it a try to we can build a flow with these settings to give them the necessary access they need, because we know for sure that they are not going to mess the data. So it's important to think a lot before we use these two options here. Let's see all of this in action. I have created a user called Kilo Lima, and that user would have a profile standard user clone. The standard user clone would have only read access on accounts. They can't create and they can't edit. And the sharing settings of accounts, I set it up as private, so that they can only edit the accounts that they own and nothing else. So object account, we only have read access, and it is set to private. For now, the flow is activated and it is set to user or system context only. What this flow does is very simple. We are going to either create an account or update an account. Here we are creating an account, and here we are updating an account, just to test this flow, to test these three options. This is built for the purposes of testing only. I added this flow on the home page of Sales Cloud. And now I'm going to log in as Kilo Lima just to test this out. Let's do that. Here's Kilo. Logging in. And then what should happen here, just to set the expectations before we do the clicks? Are we able to create a record? No, because we have only read access. Are we able to update a record that we don't own? No, because it is set to private. So if we try any of those two, trying to create a record, then it would crash. If we try to update a record that this user does not own, in this case here, they don't own this one, and then we try to update it, it would also crash. So again, it would crash. The main reason is that they don't have create access and they don't have edit access. But then even if they do have these access, create and edit, because they don't own this record, they will not be able to edit it. So that's the default settings for flows. Now let's go ahead and change this. I am not a system admin. Okay. Logging in as a system admin. Okay, I went back to an older version, but that's okay. I have not been making any changes. Let's set it to the second option now, enforcing record level access with sharing, system context with sharing. And then let's activate that. So now we are here, system context with sharing, meaning are we able to create a record, an account record? Yes, even though we don't have create access on accounts. Let's try that out. Let's keep that open for now. Let's try to create a new record and name it Bravo 002. Right, creating successfully. So Bravo 002. Now let's try to, I'm actually trying this as a system admin, which is potatoes. Let's log in as Kilo. The fact that I could see all accounts, that's how I knew I was a system admin. All right, logging in as Kilo. Let's try to create Bravo 013 or 13. That's fine. And accounts, here is Bravo 13. So we could successfully create an account even though we don't have access. We don't have create access on an object account. Now, this record here, the one that this user does not own, are we able to edit that? Let's try that out. Updating this record to updating. It would then crash. The reason is the flow is still respecting the sharing settings, and this person does not own the record. They could edit the record that they created, the one that we created, but we can't edit other people's records. This is where the third one comes in. This allows for creating anything, editing anything, hence accessing all data. Let's try that out. Again, the same mistake again. So sorry about that. Logging in as a system admin again. I don't know if there is like an easier way to do that. Changing this to accessing all data, and then saving, activating, going back here and logging in as Kilo. Now we are on the third one here. We're going to try to create an account, and we're going to try to edit an account that we don't own. So from home, creating potatoes. Potatoes has been created successfully. And then let's try to edit a record that this user does not own. The owner in this case is a different person, which is myself, Islam Ayub. And then let's try to update that. Next, look at that, no errors. And then French fries, the same one. It's the one that was owned by Islam. So this is where we say this is very powerful and very risky. It's very powerful because you can bypass security, and it is very risky because you can bypass security and other people can bypass security as well. Let's be careful, very careful with this. Please tread carefully, tread carefully, tread carefully. Thank you very much.